All right, welcome back for part two, module one, what is theater? So what we'll talk about is theater as an art form. We just talked about the architecture, the people that were involved. If you watch that video about the public theater, what kinds of theaters there are, outdoor, indoor. We saw the first outdoor, the first indoor, different kinds of theaters around the country, Broadway theaters, regional theaters, outdoor spaces here in Houston and New York City. And in that video, you saw a lot of the inner workings of how a theater kind of runs day to day. Now we'll talk about theater as an art form rather than just architecture as a building. As an art form, theater is a collaborative form of performing art that uses live performers. That's the main thing. Live performers, usually actors or actresses, to present the experience of a real or imagined event before a live audience. And we all know that, right? It's what it means to go to theater, to see theater, the art form, that people are live on stage. You know, hopefully they memorize their lines, they rehearsed, they talk to each other on stage, they move around, there's costumes, there's lights, there's a set. It's this kind of illusion, right? We suspend our belief as an audience member that we are watching these people live those lives for real, even though we know that they're actors standing on stage in front of us. But they're telling a story using their voices, their bodies, everything they have to tell that story. That's as an art form. One part of that is called musical theater. Probably the most popular part of theater is the musicals. Probably you've seen them or you've been in one perhaps. One of them, some that are going on right now on Broadway, The Great Gatsby. Really fun musical, decent music to it. Didn't win a lot of Tonys, but is in a very specific time period. There's another one coming out soon, Great Gatsby. It's going to be called Gatsby, I believe, coming from ART. That'll be on Broadway soon. So we want two Gatsbys at the same time going on. Another one from Alicia Keys is Hell's Kitchen. It's a musical based on her life. She wrote the music and some of the book. It's a fun musical. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And then we have a revival. A revival we'll get to later. Is a play that's already been produced, already been done on Broadway, sometimes many times, and then is revived, if you will. And this is from the revival of Cabaret. That's on Broadway right now, starring Eddie Redmayne, who you might know from television and film. He has an Oscar. And many Tonys. This is a show that was brought over from London, from the West End. It's a really weird, wacky production of Cabaret. Maybe you've seen Cabaret. There's a movie of it. This one is a fun one. Then there's the old staple, Hadestown, that is on tour and still on Broadway. Won the Tony for Best Musical a few years ago. And of course, the one that probably everybody knows, especially your generation, this generation, Hamilton, the musical, still going out, still has sit down, still has a tour. And then a fun one. This is a musical where they take a lot of different popular songs that weren't written for the musical, and they then plug it into a story that they made. It's called a jukebox musical. But this one is, the genre is jukebox musical. This is called & Juliet. And then if you go to the video just below this group of slides, you'll be able to see a performance of two different popular songs that they fit into the story of Romeo and Juliet.